This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Load balancer. The load balancer is basically the work of the load balancer. It's manage the incoming load.
Okay.
And distribute to multiple server. Distribute backend servers. In Azure, there are two terms is available. One terms is a front end, and second terms is a back end. So one is front end and second is back end.
Okay.
Between front end and back end, your load balancer is working. The public request like a internet, and request like you and me search like a www.azure.com or google.com or any other website. We all are search the website. That means we all are available in a public end. So my request comes in a front end.
Okay.
The front end, that means use public IP. That means the request come to the front end. So load balancer, the one request come to the front end. Secondly, the load balancer read this request. And it's forward this request to backend. So in a backend panel, there the n number of servers are connected with each other. These all our servers are connected with the particular, you are using the in particular virtual network, or either you deploy the servers in within a regions or you deploy in a different regions, depends on you. You like connect the servers in which types of configuration. And now the server is sent, and these all servers are used the private IP. Choice is your key. You are provide the IPs public and private, both, yeah, either private. So but my public request comes into the server in a through a public IP, and the public request comes in a load balancer. Load balancer stop this request and generate the new request and forward to backend panel and forward this request to this particular server. Then this server responds this request through private IP, and then this user receive this request and resolve or access the service. Got it my point?
Got it, yes.
But what is the advantage of this? The advantage of this, like if your company is using the single server and this server capacity is received like is resolved only 1 lakh request, but your request comes in more than 1 lakh, what happen?
It'll get overloaded.
Yeah, overload, and your server is shut down or maybe a slow or maybe in crashed.
Yeah.
So that's why we are just using load balancer. We have connect in our multiple servers, and the load balancer equally distribute the public request to the backend servers. When any server is goes down in a backend panel, Automatically the load balancer distribute the request to the remaining backend server.
Yep.
Got it the point?
Yes.
In that scenario, one more challenge. What is the challenge? Like simply your request, you just start the 5 servers. You create a 5 servers. So at this time your cost start for the 5 servers? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
But the problem is this: if your request comes the more than less than 1 lakh, or you know the very well ki if you're the less than request 1 lakh request is coming, or your single server resolve your request. Got it my point?
Got it.
But I'm running all 5 servers. That means these are the extra burden or extra cost. So
Yes.
this is the one drawback of this infrastructure. And basically when the company is using the load balancer, the before cloud, so this is a drawback. The company completely use the fixed servers. So how to control the cost? Or there's the one more other challenge, like I'm just using 5 servers, but your load is coming is more than 10 lakhs, then again this network is crashed.
Yes.
Yes or no? Because if simplify, yeah, you simply you can just attach the 10 servers in your company, or your load is you know that you just monitor the load. Your load is coming between the like 5 to 10 lakhs, so you can just add the 10 server. But suddenly your number of load is thinking like 10 to 15 lakh users hit your websites. So and that's the time your the current infrastructure is goes down. So
Yes.
what is the solution? Nothing. Again, I'm back to the same pattern. There's a no solution, because the within a 5 minutes we cannot add or deploy the new server.
Yeah.
So if my load is coming is more than 15 lakh, or the my current infrastructure is like a 10 server, the 10 server maximum capacity is 10 lakh request, but the request comes in 15 lakhs. That's the definitely, yeah, my server is goes down, my network is goes down, so my service is unavailable. Or it's not possible that within a 5 minutes we have just add the 5 more servers. So
Yeah.
that's why the before 10 years mostly website is slow, and mostly website is down every month. Sometimes in a month 1 or 2 times there the server is slow, provide the slow services, either Google or either any other. But one more feature, the cloud, after cloud, that the one more feature is available in this scenario. The feature is automation. Got it? The
Yes.
one feature is add in automation. What is the use of automation? The automation is called auto scaling scale set. Scale set. Azure scale set. That is called the auto scaling. In AWS, this service name is auto scaling, but in Azure, this service name is a scale set. So what is the advantage in this scale set? We set the some rules. First rule, the minimum servers. I'm set the minimum server is 1, or now I'm set the maximum server is 50. Third, we have set the another rule, the when CPU utilization use more than greater than 90%, the automatically add one more server. Or if the CPU utilization less than 90%, the automatically remove one server.
Okay.
Got it my point?
Yes.
That means if you just start the server is you start the one server, when the load is coming more than 1 lakh, the automatically scaling deploy a mirror copy servers. If your load comes
Okay.
in more than 2 lakhs, is again create a server. If your load comes in more than 20 lakhs, it's create a 20 servers automatically. Got it, my point?
Yes.
When your load is decreased, like suppose karo in an entire day your load coming in for 1 hour. So the automatically the scaling features create a 20 servers, and after 1 hour again your the all load is goes down, the CPU utilization less than 90%, the automatically it's remove or off the all servers. That means your charges is applicable only for 1 hour for any other servers. Otherwise, your one server is active. So choice is yours. You can just do look like a running active server is 1 or 2 or 3, or it depends on you the what is the maximum server is deploy automatically. So now I'm set the minimum is 1, and the automatically scaling create a maximum is 50. That means the 50 lakhs. If your load is increased, you can within a minute you can just edit the increase. You can just 50 to 100 or 100 to 1000 server within a minute. You can
Okay.
edit the policies, and as per the policies your deployment is start. So what is the best? Is a load balancer? Yeah, load balancer with scaling.
With scaling.
Yeah, so this features is support Kubernetes also. That's why the mostly companies use Kubernetes more than rather than Docker.
Okay.
This is good. So the company is not using right now is a Docker, because the mostly company using Kubernetes. Why? Because the Kubernetes provide the high availability infrastructure. So now one more thing, if I explain you the other things. Thing is, just give me 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now just we have just start the session. So how to implement for the this process. Got it? Just we have just finished now. First of all, this one. So
Okay.
now at that scenario, we have just create 2 web servers, and now I'm attach this web server with a load balancer. So we have create a load balancer and then attach this server with load balancer. Now you can one more important task. When you create a load balancer, so it's two terms. One, you can create a public load balancer. Public means is a external,
Okay.
and second is private load balancer. That means internal. The internal load balancer work within a LAN, and public load balancer work, publicly load balancer work in a external, like that means WAN, and private load balancer work as an internal, that is a LAN. Now the load balancer, when you create a server in within a region, that means when you create, this is my region, when you create a server, both servers are created in a same region. That means you required a availability set also. You create a first availability sets, or all servers are connected in a same availability set.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
So simply, when your servers are deployed in a within a region, then the servers are work in a same availability set. But when your servers are deployed in within a regions, but in a different zones, like this is my zone 1 and this is like a zone 2, zone 1 and zone 2, it does not require the availability set. We don't need for the availability set. So we need the
Okay.
availability set in which case, when your infrastructure, your server is work in a single region.
Okay.
Got it the point?
Yes.
Or either when you deploy the server in like a different regions, like the one region is like Australia, and second region is like a Canada. So the server is a work in a different region, you don't require availability set. So the availability set required in a within a regions only.
Okay.
Now the another important part, when you create the availability set, it gives you the fault tolerance or update domains. It's using the fault tolerance or update tolerance means these web servers are work is used when you create an availability set. That means it's use a common rack, common power supply.
Yes.
If the rack is goes down, yeah, your network is goes down, so everything is goes down. So the fault tolerance and update domains always managed by the Azure. If
Okay.
any failure, if any kinds of failure, so that Azure give you the support. If backend panel, the automatically updation provided by the Azure. So now
Okay.
just we can deploy the load balancer. I'm just login with portal and deploy our infrastructure. The first you need we deploy a network parts, because the all servers are connected in with my network. But before network, we create a resource group, because my all resources are saved in a single resources. So now I'm just click on a create resource group, first point, and I'm give the name is like my web web server resource group. And now I'm deploy this resource in EastUS. Now review and then create. After that, I'm create a network, because if I'm create a server, so we also require a networking. So now I'm just go to
Yes.
the home and then click on our virtual networks. And now I'm create a one network is with the name of web network, or either you give the any name. So now I'm flag the resource group. That means if I deploy the load balancer, I'm asking that my all resources same in a same resource group. The choice is you can create a new one. So now I'm just give the name is called VNet1. That means the virtual network one. And now I'm select the east US. Next I'm select the IP address. I'm give the IP address is called 192.168.1.0/24, and we have add the subnets like my load BALANCER balancer. Yeah, I'm just give the BACK backend subnet 1. That means the backend subnet means that I'm just connect the server backend servers. And I put the IP
Okay.
192.168.1.0/24 or either 26. And now add. And now review and create. You know the one more important point I'm adding in this point. Simply I'm create a one virtual network. If you remember, I'm just create a one virtual network, and I'm using this virtual network is 192.168.1.0/24. That means we are using the 256 IPs of this VNet. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, if I'm create a one subnet, I'm create a one subnet, or in this subnets, I'm give the the subnet name is a backend, and I put the IP is 192.168.1.0/26. The 26 means we can just allow 64 IPs.
Yes.
I'm allowed only 64 IPs. The /26 means we have allowed the total IPs 256, but I'm allowed for the 64 IPs for backend. That means 192.168.1.0 to 192.168.1.63. I'm allowed these IPs. Got in my point?
Yes.
So this is, if you need, you can just add more subnets. If you can add more servers, so you can create you can add a subnet after create a virtual network also. So now I'm create this subnet when we create a VNet. But if my VNet is already created, if VNet is already created, so how to add you can more servers, more subnets? So simply you can just go to the virtual networks and then click on VNet. You can add the more subnet when you create a more subnets, and then click on a subnet. Inside the subnet, you can see that the one subnet is available. When you add a new, you can just click on here, and I give the name like BACK backend hyphen SUB subnet 2. And now I'm just give the 24/26, and now save. Is it done?
Yes.
Yeah, give me a second. So is it clear how to add the subnet? The second point, I'm create a subnet. That's one more importance. The one more important point, we have create a web server. A web server, we also need like HTTP protocols and HTTPS protocol services. Also, we need a RDP because I'm just work with servers. So now we have create a one network security group also. Got it? And
Yes.
allow these protocols. So now I'm just go to network security groups and create a network security group. Like WEB web या फिर LO या फिर I'm just give the BACK backend hyphen network security group. And now I'm keep the like East US2. So I'm select. I think no, I'm using the East US only. Uh, East US, and now review and create. Then I'm create inbound rules inside the network security group. So these are the complete process. I'm draw the complete infrastructure so you can easily understand. Now first I'm create a one resource group. Inside the resource group I'm create a virtual network. This is my VNet. Inside the VNet we have just create a two subnet like a subnet 1 and subnet 2. Now I'm just create a one network security group, create a NSG and add allow protocols. And after that I'm just attach this NSG with subnets. Got it? Attach NSG with subnets. So now we have just my the network security group is done. I'm just go to the resources and then go to the inbound security groups, and now the click on add, and here I'm just ask any or like the destination port I'm also put the star. That means I'm allowed the all traffic. Choice is here, you can just allow the specific, you can just put the port number. Got
Okay.
it? I'm already explain you. And then allow all traffic. And now add. So I'm allow the all traffic from the my this network security group. When I'm attach this network security group to any subnet, that means the all traffic, the all permissions allowed to this particular subnet. Got it, guys? Got it here?
Yes.
So choices here, you can just allow the specific network protocols or like all. So I'm already explained you in the last session. And now I'm just go to the network and attach this network security group with the backend subnet 1. So now I'm just go to virtual network and then go click on the virtual networks and then click on our subnets and then click on a backend subnet 1. And now we have select the network security group is a backend energy. That means if I'm attach this sub network security group with this subnet, that means the all traffic allowed for only for this subnet. And now click on save. After that, I'm create a web servers. If I'm create a web servers, I'm created two web servers or I'm attach these two web server with a subnet 1. If I'm just attach the subnet 1, that means the all traffic allow with these servers. Got it? The point.
Yes.
So you know the scenario of the entire scenario. So now I'm created two web servers. So actually in a load balancer cases, the all web server is a mirror copy, but I'm not deploy the mirror copy. I'm explaining you the actual concept of the load balancer. That's why I'm deploying a different website in both servers. Okay, so we identify the my load balancer is distribute my load. Like sometimes the web server one website is open, sometimes is the web server two website is open. Got it?
Yes.
Now I'm just click on a home and then click on virtual machines and create virtual machines. And now select the subscriptions, select the resource group, and now I'm just give the WEB web 1. But the before creating the web 1, we have just create a availability set. I'm explaining you. The all servers are work in a same availability sets. So the option is that availability sets. So first I'm create availability set. Now just click on a create. The create availability set to provide a redundancy for your application. Create two or more virtual machine in the availability set to distribute their placement across Azure hardware cluster. So now I'm just pay as you go, select the resource group, select the slip like my uh, LO backend availability set. And now you can see the front end and back update domain and fault domain. Now I'm just review and create. So there's default 2 and 5. So these are the maximum. But as per the infrastructure, if the every day the Azure increase the data center, so it's also increase the fault domain and update domain limits. So now these availability sets are created. Now I'm just deploy the virtual servers because I'm just deploy the load balancer is within a region. So that's why I'm just create a availability set. So one more thing, you can also create a availability set during deploy the web servers. But I'm create a before. So click and like a web 1 and you can see the US central US. Not now I'm not using the central US. I'm just click the my web server of the web 1 East US. Or now I'm not using the concept of the zones. So I'm just using the concept of the availability set. Now you can create a new set of select existing. So now I'm already created. So now I'm select the existing. The
Okay.
standard we have select the Windows Server 2012 R2 data center generation 1 edition. The approximately monthly cost of this and like the ICCP 1. And now we don't allow the any protocols because I'm already attached the network security group with the subnet. If you are not attached the network security group with the subnet, then you allow the protocols. Now the next is hard drives. Now the next we have created a VNet 1. Inside the VNet 1, I'm creating the two subnets. But if I'm attached the subnet 2, there is a no access. No one can access my machines because I'm not allowed any network security group with this. So now we have just select the subnet backend subnet 1. And now we can allow the public IP of this web server 1. And now review and create. Same as I'm created the another web servers and add the same subnet or add in a same availability set also.
Okay.
So now I'm create another server. So I'm just simply click on home and then click on virtual machines, then click on create. Pay as you go. And now give the web 2 and availability sets and select the availability sets and generation 1 and now give the ICCP and the password. And now none. So now as per the diagram, I'm deploy two web servers, and these web servers are connected with VNet 1, subnet 1. Got it this scenario? So now I'm just done these all points. Now I'm create first is a resource group. Second, we have create a VNet. Third, we have create a subnets. Fourth, we have create a network security group. Fifth, we have add the network security group with the subnet. Then we have create a one availability sets. And now these both servers are connect with the availability set and VNet and subnet one. Got it the point? Everything?
Yes.
Now I'm just log in with these servers and deploy our websites.
Okay.
Got it? So now I'm just go to the home and I'm logging with virtual machines web server 1 and I'm just copy the web server 1 IP, public IP, and then go to the remote desktop connection. And paste and then connect. And after login, I'm just install the IaaS service roles in this system. So the server manager is open. And now click on add roles and features. Then click on next. And now select the web server services is web server IaaS. Then next, and install. The same as I'm logging to the another web server. In web server 2 and login with the web server 2. And install the IaaS service. Click on add roles and features.
Okay.
Then next. And click on store. So now at this time you can see the web server 1. I'm coming in a web server 1. And you can see the web server 1 IP is this one. Or now if I'm just paste this IP is in a browser, so you can see that this default web page is open. Now I'm just delete this web page. So I'm just click on web 1. And this is the location of this default web page is called in C drive. So in C drive, that this directories come after install the IIS role, or inside the IIS role, these are the web page is opened by default web page. So now if I'm just colored and you can see the refresh, you can see that this web server is open. But now I'm just change my entire website. So now I'm just simply I'm delete this web page, entire web server. Now I'm just delete this one. If I'm delete this one, then you can see it give you the error, because I'm just delete my web server location to website. Now I'm add my custom website. If any developer write the websites, so now I'm just download the one website in sometimes before. Wait, I'm just click on the download section, and where is a website? Yeah, this is a website. And now I'm just copy the website, Control C, and now I'm just paste this all files in this location. Clear? And now you can check if I'm refresh. So again, your view website is working perfectly. Done, dear.
Understood.
Now I'm just close this session. You can see that this time access this website. The IP is 20.115.121. Now I'm just go to the I'm just copy the another website. There the one more website is available, and my system is like Wikimaster, and I'm just copy this website entire website, and I'm deploy this website in our web server 2. So I am just closed because my IIS server is already installed, and I'm just click on the location of the website. So it's in C drive. Inside the C drive, the inetpub, this folder comes after install the IIS and the www root. And now I'm just delete the default web page, and now I'm just Control V. And now we have checked. So I'm just copy the public IP of this particular web server 2 and paste in a browser and see the output. So now you can check and then so you know that means my two both websites, that means the both web server is ready. The one website is working in 20.115.24.108 and another is 94, and the both are using the different web pages. But it is a dedicated. If the load is come the web server 1, or the load is come the more than 1 lakh, or your server's capacity is 1 lakh request, that your server is goes down. That's why I'm asking if the web server load is coming, the web server 1, or if the load uh, comes, yeah, your web server goes down, so the automatically your request forward to the web server 2. Got my point?
Got it. Yes.
So now we have just using and introduced the, so guys, these are the complete is my backend panel. So now I'm ready the my backend panel. This is my backend panel. So got it, the what is which configuration I'm done in the backend panel. Now I'm create a front end, and the front end coming create during the load balancer. So now I'm create a load balancer. So how to create a load balancer? I'm just simply go to the Azure portal and then click, and the option is available in the load balancer and the create load balancer, and select the subscriptions and select the resource group, and now give the load balancer is like ICCP Infotech hyphen LB1 load balancer 1. In East-US, we have just create a basic load balancer or standard. So if you select the basic, so there's a no any different regional option is available. When you select the standard, you can also deploy the web server in a different region. That means if you are using a different region, like you create a web server in a different region, like in Australia and India, then you use the standard. But if you are using like a testing purpose or like a practice purpose, so you are also use the basic. So now I'm using the basic, and there the two option is available. The one is a public load balancer. You create a public, that means you can access in a worldwide, or you create an internal, so like a within a LAN. Now I'm create a public because you at this time you are available in a US. So you can see you can also access these web server services. So now I'm create a public. If I'm create an internal, you don't access the services because the internal it's work in a within a LAN. Got it the point?
Yes.
Now that you can see the front end IP, that means we have configured the public IP. That my public request come in my front end IP. And this IP you create a statically or you create a dynamically. When you create a dynamically, the continuously this IP is changed. And if you can create a statically, so this IP is completely fixed. So now I'm just clicking on front end IP and add front end IP. And name of the front end IP is called LOAD load BALANCER balancer hyphen PIP public IP. And you can see that these public IPs automatically show in both systems. And now the IPv4 and create a new and LB hyphen PIP public IP load balancer public IP. I'm just give the public IP, or choice is you can just create the dynamic or static. So now I'm put the static. And now okay, yeah, you can also select a dynamic. So I'm just select the static because I'm check, and now add. Now the backend pools, you can see the option is available in the backend pool. That means in a backend pool, I'm just add these all things. I'm create a backend pool. I'm create these all things in a backend pool. So now I'm just click on a backend pool and add backend pool. Inside the backend pool name is like my LB web servers. And now the virtual network, I'm create a one virtual network. The name is VNet1 and associate to you use the scaling set. I'm not deploy the scaling set. I'm deploy the normal load balancer or now the virtual machine. So now I'm select in a virtual machine. Then you can see this message. You can only attach the virtual machine in EST-US that have a basic SKU public IP configuration or no public IP configuration. All virtual machine must be in the same availability set. So I'm already create my both web server in a same availability set. Got it? Why I'm adding the same availability? This is a terms and condition of the Azure.
Okay.
Got it here? And now
Yes.
I'm just click on add, and both servers are working the same ability zone. Sorry, set. So I'm just select the both servers in web 1 and web 2. So web 1 and web 2, and now add. So these both servers are adding, and now just click on add. Then you also create a inbound rule. So it's inbound rule, that means the communication. Your which request forward to server, like the load balancer forward public request to backend panel. So you use which protocols? So like
H.
my public request come to like a HTTP. So I'm asking the same request, the request forward same protocol. So now just create inbound rules and add inbound rules. The rule is like a LB-RULE rule 1. Now the IPv4, I'm select the front end IP. That means my request come for this. And backend, the load balancer forward this request to the load balancer web servers. TCP, the request comes from I like port number 80. And backend port is 80. And health probe is like a ping pong. So now I'm create a new health probe. And like my health. So health probe, we are using the port is HTTP and port number 80. So everything we are using the same port. If you use a customized port, so you can change the port as per the everywhere. Like your company use a not using the 80, you can company use like the port number 8000. So you can allow these 8000 protocols in a web server firewalls. Second, you allow this 8000 protocol in a network security group, and you also allow the these 8000 port number to the health probe also. So when you
Okay.
change the, you can change the ports, you can allow to anywhere. Like in your house, there the 3 biometric systems are available. When you exit, you can punch all 3 biometric systems, then you exit. But you can, your identification is changed, or you can just allow the add the new identity in a single biometric. So can you exit more than other biometric systems?
No.
No. So that means you can just allow you the identification, your identity entry is found to the all biometric, then you allow. That's the
Yes.
same concept. If you're the company is using a customized port, so you can allow the port to anywhere. And now I'm just click. This is the ideal time, like when you are not working in a server. That means your website is open, but you are not working like 4 minutes. So then you refresh your, after 4 minutes, the load balancer automatically send your request to the another server. Otherwise, when you access your server is running, so your website is open in 4 minutes, but it's changed. It's within a 4 minutes, not in complete entire 4 minutes. So now I'm just click on add. So I'm also at the health probe, and next outbound rules. So no need for the any outbound rules because the all is permit. And now review and create. So these are the portal. When you see the, you watch the videos in before 6 months, so you can see the entire load balancer configuration portal is changed. So these are the new portal. Got to my
Okay.
point? But you are,
Got
if
it.
you watch the videos in before 6 months, so the entire load balancer steps is different.
Oh, okay.
Points is same, but the configuration is completely different. So in previous load balancer console to this console is better. It's very easy. When you explain, when you need EVA, that's why I'm explaining each and every point, like the why we are using the front end, why we are using the load ends, why we are using the back end. Got it the point?
Got it. Yes.
Now you can see the front end, that means Azure allocate the one public IP address to this. So you can see if this load balancer automatically allocate these all server IP same, that means this IP found to this system, this system, this system, this system, all server IP is same. So you can see when this load balancer is created, go to the load balancer, you can see the load balancer IP. So you can see the load balancer IP. I'm just wait, I'm just click on refresh. So what happened now? The view the front end IP configuration. You can see these are the public IP is 137. Got it?
Yes.
And now this is my web server 1 IP 94, and this is a 108. Now I'm just move in a web server again. I'm moving in a web server. And now just click on a web server. You can see the IP 20.185.33.137 or here 194. Got it? You can see the IP is 108. I'm just go to the web server 2 because at this time these machines are connected with the load balancer. So at this time the all servers IP is same because the load balancer distributes the load to any IP. Now I'm just I'm share the IP with you. Dear, please check. Please check this IP. You can just write this IP and hit in a browser or
Yeah.
give me the reply which website is open. Is web 1 or web 2?
I
Is
see the gym fitness website.
yeah, Gym Fitness, that means the web server 1. Now I'm hit the request. So I'm also received the web server 1. No, I'm just received the landing page 2019. I'm select the another. Yeah, at this time the web server 1. I'm again refresh. Now you can see if I'm stop the web server 1, what happened? If I'm stop the web server 1
Mhm.
and then you refresh after stop. Now I'm just click stop. Just wait.
Okay.
So my server is stopped successfully. Either you can just refresh and you can see that your website request is automatically forward to another server.
Yes.
So my load balancer is working properly. Got it? That's why I'm just deploying 2 different websites. You can easily understand the load balancer concept. And this IP is not a system IP. This is a load balancer IP. When you access this IP to name, so you can just buy the domain and configure the DNS
Yes.
record. So got it? The understand the all things.
Yeah, understood. Yes.
So now enough for today. I continue the next topic.
What is the next topic?
The next topic is similar to same, but it's again lengthy topic. But I think so. It is enough for today because there are more things is added new.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think it's enough for today. Yeah.
yeah.
This
So
is
now the
a long
tomorrow we
session.
have just start for scaling.
Okay.
Okay, so like this one, the automatic deployment when the your server, because the what is the disadvantage of this network? If the server is goes down, this not create automatically. Like you are using the 2 web server, your both web server is goes down, that means your entire web server is down. Or if your load is
Yeah.
coming the more than 2 lakhs, then again this infrastructure is goes down. So now I'm deployed the this types of infrastructure. The when the my load is increased, the automatically my server is created. Now my load is decreased, the automatically my server is removed. When if the my active service is crashed, the automatically the new server are created. That is the complete entire process of the automation is we are using the Azure auto scaling set. The
Got it.
tomorrow we have start this set. So now the thank you. Hope so you understand the topic and